Welcome in to a Chargers 7-round mock draft. Let's change that to 7 real quick. Probably not going to know the guys in maybe the last 2 rounds, but for the Chargers, I mean, Super Bowl was yesterday. You guys will probably be seeing this 2 days after the Super Bowl, so draft order is officially set. Chiefs, unfortunately, won the Super Bowl. Horrible call. Horrible way to end a pretty good overall Super Bowl, a good game. Just a horrible call. Like, you can't not call that during the entire game. Almost no penalties the entire game. Both teams were, being physical off the line. James Bradbury is known for being pretty physical throughout the entire route. Yeah, you can call it a couple times a game, but be consistent when you see something like that. Be consistent throughout the game. Determine before the game, hey, we're going to let them play like it's a playoff game. A little bit more physical, let them go out there. But you can't not call it the entire game and then decide the Super Bowl on that penalty. That was horrible. But for the Chargers, I think it's obvious that it's going to be tough to win this division at any point in the next 10 years at least. They have Patrick Mahomes, they have Andy Reid, that's all they need. They have Travis Kelce too, but he hopefully won't be there too much longer. But all they need is Mahomes and Reid, and they're probably going to win the division probably for the next 10 years. But Chargers might be able to get a wild card spot. All we can hope for is maybe some change of ownership, GM, head coach at some point in the next couple of years. But until then, let's just do our best in the draft, do our best in the offseason. We always seem to do okay. And let's at least try to have fun in the offseason and in the draft. My thoughts for the Chargers round 1. Draft is pretty strong at corner. I would almost say that's the corner and tight end, really. Those are the only 2 positions where there's some pretty solid high-end talent while also being deep throughout the entire draft, at least through day 2. In general, at the top of this draft, there's 3 or 4 blue chip guys, but this draft does fall off pretty quickly in terms of talent. So even guys at 21 might not normally be a first-round pick in some drafts. But corner, tight end, those are the best positions, the deeper positions, but not necessarily the ones that I want the Chargers targeting. Let me hop into one real quick. Less, more. I'll do middle round, middle amount of randomness. For the Chargers, round 1, I normally like to look edge. If Nolan Smith is there, he is my go-to guy, round 1. I love Nolan Smith. I'm a little bit lower on guys like Lucas Van Ness. Myles Murphy, if he's there, yes, I would take him. He's getting drafted pretty high. I don't think I would take him that high, but if he was there for the Chargers, yes, that would be a pretty decent pick. Like Will Anderson, like Tyree Wilson. And then there's some day 2 guys that I'm interested in. Will McDonald, not necessarily Byron Young as much. And then the receiver class is very interesting as well to keep an eye on. So let's start this one and see who is available for the Chargers. Very interesting. Quentin Johnston has not been there in a single mock draft that I've done, so he is falling down boards. In this one, Bryce Young fell to 7. That happens sometimes in these mock drafts, but in general, that's a pretty, other than Brian Bresee, he is being mocked more tail end of the first round. Other than that, in general, that's a pretty solid top I mean, really 15, 16, pretty realistic top 20 for sure. I could definitely see guys like Osiris Torrance, Joey Porter. That really might be it. And then Quentin Johnson and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I could see all those guys maybe going ahead of the Chargers pick, and some of these guys maybe falling. But Nolan Smith went at 15. Not really an edge guy. There are some trade offers, and there is a trade offer to only go a couple picks back, which does make this tough. I do love trading back, but I would probably want to trade back for BJ Ojulari, and 25 might still be just a hint rich, in my opinion, for BJ. So I am going to go Quentin Johnston. He has not been here for a single mock draft. 6'4", 215. If you guys watch my other videos of the receiver breakdowns, you would know my opinion of him. Insane athlete, crazy athlete. It's all there. Johnson has every uncoachable physical tool. That's what it is. He could improve his physicality at the catch point, especially. Some drop issues. Needs to use that frame a little bit better, but very, very underrated top end speed. Looks like a wind-up toy coming off. That's a pretty good way to put it. But round one, we will be going with a true deep threat. Would have the best speed easily out of Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen would top end speed might come close to Jalen Guyton, just going to throw that out there, and has the potential to develop into a true wide receiver one. This is going to be a no trades mock as well. I get a little bit trade happy, and by the luck, they might have just updated this today or yesterday, because Jalen Hyatt has definitely risen, and Darnell Washington has fallen a little bit because he has also never been here. But we did just go Quentin Johnston. I have to address the edge, and Will McDonald did fall. Will McDonald, I need to go back and rewatch his Senior Bowl tape. I just watched one of his games. I don't remember which game it was. I watched every snap, but he has much better power than I was expecting for his frame. He didn't get moved very easily. He was able to push the pocket pretty well. Didn't seem like a crazy athlete by any means. Maybe an all-around above average athlete, but didn't have any sort of crazy burst or bend. But I do need to go back and watch those one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl. Let's see who went. Some Jahmyr Gibbs, Zach Harrison, Keanu Benton, Tyreek Stevenson, Rashee Rice, Isaiah Foskey, Cedric Tillman. I need to learn how to say his name. Adetimowa Adebare? I don't know. But he is a very interesting prospect. He may end up being a D tackle in the league. Crazy frame, like 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1", but has super long arms. Pretty powerful. He's an interesting prospect for the Chargers in round 3 or 4. I do like Jaquelin Roy out of LSU. He was supposed to have a much bigger year this year than he ended up having, as an interior pass rusher especially. Might end up going Clark Phillips here, though. Going to be really tough not to, because he might not have the size to last on the outside in the NFL. We kind of said the same thing about Asante, and he's mostly proven us wrong. But I think, let me look at the numbers here. I think Clark Phillips is 5'10", 183, that is close to what Asante was, but I would be drafting him to fill that slot corner role for us. And this is a very deep corner class. I like this guy out of Northwestern, had a very good Senior Bowl. I like Roy. I like DeJuan Jones, but hopefully we re-sign Trey Pipkins. Noah Sewell, not really. Byron Young just has no power. Much better straight line speed than I was expecting. Better than Will McDonald for sure, but just zero power at all. Might be looking running back later in the draft. Might be looking like for a true burner, like Trey Palmer a little bit later. But I think that Clark Phillips is the pretty obvious choice here. Let me just, he doesn't have anything written for Clark Phillips, but that's a pretty easy pick. He's definitely a top 60, probably top 50 player for me. I haven't graded or looked at the corners yet, but I mean, even just watching his highlights, Clark Phillips, I don't think he won the Jim Thorpe Award, but he's been sneaking into first rounds for a lot of people. I know Mike Renner just isn't as high on him, but getting Clark Phillips to come in and day one play the slot, very cheap, rookie contract, this is a very good start to the draft with Quentin Johnston, Will McDonald, and Clark Phillips. Definitely addressing. I do really like Jacorian Bennett as well. He had a very good Senior Bowl. He's probably going to end up being one of my diamonds in the rough, but we just went corner. So just looking at this, I think Jared Patterson was a Senior Bowl guy as well. I'm starting to recognize less of these people. I recognize Henry To'oTo'o as a somewhat limited athlete, but good, true linebacker prospect, which we kind of need. We do hope, actually, Drew Tranquill is a free agent, but recognize Trey Dean, Ivan Pace, crazy blitzing, almost pass rushing linebacker. I wish I knew more of Zach Evans' skill set. I don't think I'm going to go running back in round 4, though. I might go either safety. Is this a reach for Trey Dean, though? When's my next pick? I'm at 124, and I don't pick until 158. Trey Dean's a pretty good player, and I would feel much more confident about starting Trey Dean week 1 than a player like JT Woods. JT Woods was just a disaster. I'm looking Henry To'oTo'o, Trey Dean, eventually addressing the O-line as well. We do have some Antonio Mafi. I have actually heard of him. I feel like I watched him last year for some reason when I was watching a different prospect. This is tough. We do need help on the defense. We're probably going to be cutting Matt Filer, but we may be just sliding our 6th round pick, Jamari Sawyer, into that guard spot. And you want to draft talent over need, but I think I'm going to go with either Henry To'oTo'o or Trey Dean. And for me, I'm going to go Henry To'oTo'o. We, yes, technically have Kenneth Murray. Drew Tranquill is a free agent. Hopefully we bring him back. But anything so that we don't have to have Kenneth Murray on the field. Henry To'oTo'o, almost the opposite of Kenneth Murray. Not an insane athlete in any regard. Not going to be your true sideline-to-sideline speedster. Not going to look like a Harold Perkins out of LSU. but he has great instincts. He trusts them. He's disciplined, and he is a good all-around linebacker and somebody who, as in year one, I would probably feel more comfortable starting than Kenneth Murray in year, what is this, going to be year 4, which says something. Hopefully we don't pick up that 5th-year option. And trading is still here as well. Mekhi Gardner. I recognize Charlie Jones as well. Kenny McIntosh, Ali Gay, Ronnie Bell, Darius Rush. He had a pretty decent Senior Bowl. Luke Schoonmaker. Probably going to go trading. And then we're going to start hammering probably the offensive line and the defensive line a little bit. Mainly interior D-line just to get some bodies. We are going to have a lot of guys returning. Kenny McIntosh is still here, but guard out of Alabama. Yes, he might not develop into anything. Cameron Latu is here as well. But DJ Dale, see, I just recognize all these guys because I unfortunately have to watch a lot of Bama games. We are going to pick, 6'4", 305. Haven't watched a lick of Javion Cohen's tape, but guard out of Bama, 6th round pick. We're going to need some more bodies at the especially interior offensive line position. Yeah, we have Zion Johnson. Hopefully Corey Linsley can stay healthy. We're going to be getting rid, hopefully, I think, of Matt Filer. Jamari's going to step into that role. But, we have a lot of injuries, a lot of people rotating on our offensive line. Yeah, I'd like to be ideally 4 deep at tackle, but very few teams are. If we have Rashawn, hopefully Trey Pipkins, and then Jamari can kick out to really only left tackle. We haven't seen him much at right tackle, but hopefully he can do that. He's going to be our swing tackle either way. Fullback, halfback. So I am thinking interior defensive line. Why do I recognize Dante Stills? I feel like this dude was really hyped up. Like, Jaden Reed is still here as well. Whoa. Okay, we got some. I don't think I took a true speed receiver. I am going to abandon the interior defensive line. Kill me. But we have some interesting receiver prospects and haven't taken one since Quentin Johnston. Michael Wilson, monster Senior Bowl. Jaden Reed, also pretty monster Senior Bowl. But I'm not going to pick either of them, and I'm going to go with Trey Tucker. Dude he's not going to have anything written about him, yeah. Crazy speed. He is an even less developed Calvin Austin. Short frame, pretty stocky, but crazy in a straight line. You get the ball in his hands and just say go. He's going to outrun most people. Not even necessarily a natural football player yet, which does tempt me to go Michael Wilson. But if we have guys like Josh Palmer, which I would almost put Josh Palmer and Michael Wilson in the same boat in terms of even just when you watch them play, watch them move at the Senior Bowl, run routes, they have good ball skills, they have a very good feel for the position. Michael Wilson in the 7th is really interesting. Same with Jaden Reed. I thought that they're probably going to end up going much higher as in like the 5th. But Trey Tucker would bring a different element to this offense and have that true raw speed. He's very raw as a receiver, but it's the 7th round as well. So I would take a shot on upside and speed, something that this offense desperately needs. And if he hits, would bring tremendous value to this team. So we're going Trey Tucker in the 7th. I'm interested to see how they graded this one out, because I did technically reach for almost 2 picks in a row. Quentin Johnston, A+. Will McDonald, A+. I mean, really those first 3 picks, that would be a dream. Quentin Johnston, one of my favorite picks at 21 if he's there. Don't think he's going to be. I really like Nolan Smith as well, but then we had Will McDonald fall to us in the 2nd, another A+ pick. Easily edge 3, definitely above Chris Rumpf. Clark Phillips, starting slot corner, in my opinion. Henry To'oTo'o could step in and be a remotely capable starting linebacker. Even if we get slightly below average play out of him as a starter, I would take that over catastrophic every single time Kenneth Murray steps on the field. And if he can just be there in coverage, or at least know the assignment, that's, again, going to be an upgrade. Trey Dean, Nazir Adderley probably won't be coming back to the team. We do still have Alohi Gilman, but Trey Dean going to come in and allow Derwin to play a little bit more down around the line of scrimmage, in the box a little bit more, so that we can still have keep that too high look that Brandon Staley loves. Javion Cohen, SEC, Bama, guard, big, body. I mean, you gotta take shots and keep replenishing that offensive line room, because if you take one every year, every other year, tail end, I mean, you're gonna find a Trey Smith or a Jamari Salyer who gives you a tremendous amount of value in the late rounds, and a lot of offensive linemen don't break out until year 3 or 4. Look at Trey Pipkins. But having those guys on your roster who can sit, who can learn, it's important to just keep that churning in-house. That's how you build and maintain a good offensive line, by attacking it and staying with those picks. You don't want to neglect it for years on end. And then Trey Tucker, sort of shooting for the moon, raw athleticism, straight line speed, not very developed, but does bring something to this offense that we do not have, and we as Chargers fans all really want to see. What is your guys' really ideal first round pick in terms of position? I think for me, it's tough to not say edge, just because this class is decent at edge. Receivers up there, it's a strong corner class. But what do you guys think of our first round pick? Some names that you guys are looking at, what positions? I mean, I'm definitely going to be doing a good amount of mock drafts where I trade back, because, I mean, I love trading back, love the idea. We never do it, but I think we should, and this would also be a pretty solid draft to do it in, because I think there's some decent players at the top, but similar to last year, you can find a lot of very good starters in rounds 2 and 3, and getting into the meat of that draft and getting out of possibly reaching on some first round picks, I would be a fan of. But that should do it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.